before we get into this, I think what we're going to be talking about is a framework. It's great that we've looked at some of the devices and how those things enable, but we're going to go through the purpose of it is just to go through a framework on how we can be an enabler to the business. So first thing, before we talk about a framework, I'd like to ask, and it's a rhetorical question, what does it mean to be an enabler? What do we think it means to be an enabler? Well, if you step back and you look at it, I went on, and as you do, you Google it, right? It's something you do when you're having an argument with your wife or your kids. You want to make sure you get the right answer. And the things that came up for me, and there's 4 things here, was to make things easier for someone. Okay, fair enough. Next one was helping someone do something. So there's a purpose to what you're doing to enable. Okay, to empower someone or something. So making things better, giving them the power to do things better. And the last one I thought was interesting was to support for someone or something, to support them in whatever they're doing. So if you think about enabling and you look at IT, you step back and say, as an IT function within a logistics company, because that's really what I'm responsible for, you first need to understand, well, what are you enabling, right? What is it that you're trying to do? What is the company trying to do? So the first thing that I would recommend as part of the framework building is that you understand what the company's vision is. When I look at that, first thing I do is I say, okay, I'm going to pick out a few things. Target customers, partner of choice, and integrated logistics solution. Partner of choice. Well, if you're going to be an enabler, you need to have capabilities that make you much better than your competition, number one. Number 2 is integrated logistics solutions. So whatever we're doing to enable the business, there need to be integrated solutions that give that customer a bit of an X factor in their supply chain. So if you think about this here, I've just given you a roof. It's the starting point. It's like a house. It's a roof. You're saying, okay, the vision is what I'm going for. It's what I'm going to look to achieve. Okay? So part of the roof as well is, if you think a roof, you need to have something that supports it underneath the roof. You've got to have pillars propping up that roof, propping up that target. But from an IT enabler standpoint, you know the what. Now you're going to be looking at how. How am I going to enable? It's good that I've got an understanding of the vision, but how am I going to do that? It doesn't matter at the starting point when you're looking at how mature your organization is. You need to have key focus areas that you're going to take that IT function forward. So what we did at Silk is we selected 6. We worked with the executive team, and we selected 6, okay? Risk management. How do we manage our risk? How do we mitigate risk in anything that we do as an enabler? Expectation management. Do we really understand what our internal, external customers require from us as enablers to the business? Standardization. How well do we standardize what we do and make sure that through scale we can get better servicing, better pricing as IT? Financial management. As an IT enabler, this day and age, you can't be seen as just a cost center. You need to actually be delivering revenue. You need to be looking at ways to bring in money for your company as well. So how do you do that and measure that? All of these need to be measured when you're building your focus areas. Growth and innovation. How do you make sure that whatever you're doing, it's not just internally focused? What are you doing to innovate out there as well? Working with your vendors, with vendor management and partners to make sure that you're innovating. So again, technologies like this. How are we using some of those technologies ourselves to break through what we're doing today?
So that's the introduction. Thanks, Scott. So next we'll be going into, well, what are the enablers? So we've got processes, people, and technology. They're the key 3 enablers across our business that if we harness and get right and measure them correctly, it can add a lot of value to our business. And these screens, or these screen prints here on the side, is something Matt and his team done correct when you started with the business. Maybe if you want to tell the audience about the Gartner and research. So
once we define the pillars, then we need to actually take stock and say, well, how do we actually do against those? How do we measure up against those pillars? And so you need to say, well, what are the 3 key focus areas that you look at when you're delivering a service to your business and enabling them? It's your people, process, and technology. So what we did is, and what I recommend when you're doing this exercise, if you do it, is that you don't reinvent the wheel. You look at companies like Gartner that have done this before, where they look at best practice, they look at processes, and you help yourself to benchmark what they're saying. What technologies do you have within your organization? Where are they? What roadmap do they have? Are they innovating in what they're doing? And then also looking at verticals that you might be in and saying, okay, where do we stack up in a particular vertical? What is the revenue and the IT investment that's being made in that particular vertical to help you to move forward? So what you would do then is you would actually do that assessment, do a bit of a health check on your IT and how you enable the business. And just we showed you with a bit of a graphic is how you could actually give yourself a score and then from there a roadmap and take this forward around a 30 to 60 to 90 day plan and beyond to take your IT function to be a better enabler for your business.
Basically, quickly, Matt, just what this shows is the transportation logistics industry, according to Gartner, lags behind other industries in terms of investment in IT. I'm sure many of you have heard before that a lot of logistics companies now are becoming more IT companies providing a logistics service. So, and that's something that we understand as well by investing and being ahead of our competitors with our investment in IT. The rest will follow.
Absolutely. Again, it's integrated solutions, and they want us to be partner of choice. You need to make sure that where your technology and where you're enabling will allow us to be the partner of choice.
We'll talk about where do you enable in the business, so what do you map that against. So three big things for Silk is our safety, which is what we keep as #1 priority, and that's both from a physical aspect with guys on the floor every day, turning up to work, deserve to be at work, and deserve to be safe, and also from a mental aspect as well. Their mental health's in check as well. So, and that's managed through Silk's own system called SIMS, which stands for Silk Incident Management System. So if you imagine 25 warehouses across the country, lots of trucks, lots of part-time employees, full-time employees, subcontractors, and so on and so forth. We need to have a way to manage that. If they're working 8 hours a day, 4 hours a day, if they check in, and if there's any incidents or any accidents, then it's measured, or if anyone's out of work, then it's all measured at the end of the month or the year. We can pull a report and say out of 800,000 or 1 million hours of work, we had 3 LTIs, lost time industries, or MTIs, and so on and so forth. Then we have labour, which is a large cost to the business, especially in a country like Australia, where labour is more expensive than in other countries across the world. And an MDHE, which is another huge cost. So make sure we manage that effectively through our IT technology systems, run reports and analysis to understand, are we using our materials handling equipment to the best of their ability. And then further, maybe the MDHE is real estate. So just like buying a house, warehouses aren't cheap, no matter where they are, and customers want them near the CBD, retailers want them near the CBD, so it's close to their customers. So there would be the three.
Right, and to complement just what Carl was saying is, as an IT enabler, you got to make sure you understand what the levers, the pullers and levers are that drive your business. And so those are the three that we have that are really critical to us. So you just need to make sure, and that's the magnifying glass here, is that you look at ways to better improve that, because by doing that, you improve your profit margin and you reduce cost. Okay.
Right, so what Matt's referring to is we'll call these our levers. So we have our enablers, which we spoke about before, and these are our different levers, and the more we can move them forward to work for us, the better we can run our business. So next of all, we want to talk about the different lines of our business as such, or different services that Silk provide. One thing that we're big on is saying that left and right in the warehouse, so center being the warehouse, left of the warehouse being inbound, and right of the warehouse being your distribution. So that's Silk's three lines of business as such. You see here on the left hand side, left of the warehouse, which is also known as work cartage. So when the containers and the freight forwarders, such as ITM and the likes, deliver freight or get it from China, Shanghai to Melbourne Port, we need to be there and have the trucks and assets at hand, but also the technology to ensure that it's picked up, and our drivers are aware what's arrived, what's ready to be picked up at the customer facility. Then live tracking through technology, then into our warehouse operations, which our WMS is JDA, JD Edwards, and Red Prairie. So it's a large multinational billion-dollar company. So they invest in their IT, which helps our customers.
Whatever we've done here, it's really aligned with those three levers. So it's, again, labor management. How do we get data warehousing in there to give better BI and analytical tools to manage our labor, to manage our facilities, to manage our MHE? How do we make sure that our drivers and our warehouse staff are safe? Fatigue management systems, making sure that they are doing what they need to do and they're healthy and able. We've got ability to reduce costs. We're looking at technologies like drones, where we, looking at piloting a solution where you can get drones to do stock taking instead of having labor. Again, labor cost reduction, which is one of the key levers. So a lot of these things, together with a lot of these devices that we're looking at, really helps us with driving those things, again, enabling them. So just in summary, we've covered a lot of things. Most of them came in threes. we're looking at the vision. You need to know what you want to go towards. What are you trying to achieve as a company so that IT can enable that? Understand, what are the focus areas that you're going to grow your enabling with, and make sure you drive to that. Measure yourself with that, with your people, process, and technology, and don't reinvent the wheel. Use companies like Ida that can assist you with that. And then from there, just look at your key lines of business that you need to support and the levers that you have that will drive profit and growth and enable those components. If it doesn't align with the vision or the levers, then it's really not giving your business the the enabling that it needs to give. So we hope that was helpful. It really is a framework. We hope that you can take it away and use it and grow, and happy enabling.